Good evening, everyone. All right, we got a few people in here already. Nice. I'm sorry for the lighting. I do have a video light on, but also got a lot of light coming in here, natural light today. Looks like that's throwing the balance off a little bit. That's all right. We don't need to see me all pretty. We're here to talk, have some time, have a good time, and drink some coffee. Oh, that's good coffee. Um, so I have had a really good weekend, and I hope you all have as well. Let's get to some hellos here. Halloween, good to see you. Anubis, good to see you. Animal Man and A12 as well. Um, I myself am doing good. It has been a good weekend, a busy weekend, but a good weekend. I've gotten to spend a lot of time with friends and the wife, and even got some work done. Uh, so yeah, I have had a very productive and good weekend personally. As many of you know, most people, at least in the pagan and/or magical community, are out there now today celebrating Lammas. Um, I plan to do a little ritual later this evening, um, starting to deal with that transition of the year. But mostly here, we're going to try and relax a bit, cook a nice meal, and spend time with family. We keep it simple. Um, so let's see here. We got some more people getting ready to join us. Hey, Purified, glad you could make it. Glad to see so many people who like to finish their weekend here and have a conversation. I got to admit, Friday, you guys were asking some really good questions that got me to thinking about topics I don't know if I've ever thought about them. Macy, welcome. So I do love when you uh, ask me those questions. Halloween, working on D&D prep while listening. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Gotta get that D&D prep in there. Um, Especially with you and I getting ready to do that dad and daughter's D&D concept. We're hoping to get that off the ground soon. So, we got to make sure we're prepped and ready for that stuff. Izzy, hi, I just joined. We're just getting started, Izzy, so don't worry about that. Jade, hey, you made it. Welcome. So, um, we have had some interesting weather. We've had plenty of storms and rain here this weekend, but the weather has broke to give us an absolutely beautiful afternoon, which I am totally enjoying and digging on it. So I think it's going to be a wonderful night for me and the wife to chill out and enjoy the Sabbath. So, Avela, welcome. Glad you can make it. Macy, you do some D&D too. Cool. When me and Halloween do launch the Dad and Daughter D&D channel, you should check us out. Maybe it's going to let us let our goofy side show a bit more, let our nerdy side show. I try not to talk too much D&D over here because, well, we talk magic over here. We want to keep it in the reality realm, not in the fantasy realms. So, but yeah, you should definitely join us over there once we get that up. It's not up yet. Is I might have to leave soon. Probably going to eat dinner. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Dinner is good. I don't get to eat dinner till after stream. That's just the way it works. When you're the streamer, you don't eat until after. Macy, looking forward to it. Awesome. I kind of spam Discord. Sorry. That's okay. If you're sending me a direct message or something and you just got a lot to say, that's the whole point. It's there when I can get to it. So if you've got some stuff to say that you need me to know and you dropped it in there, that's fine. And Dandy, my biggest request is don't do that at like 5 a.m. But other than that, I'm pretty good. Okay, so he's also just discovered lives yesterday, so I will be on more. Awesome! Awesome. I am glad you found us. We do try to do these at least twice a week, Fridays and Sundays. I think I've only missed one or two in 2 years, so that's actually a pretty good record. Kyra, welcome. Good to see you. Welcome. Hey, Bornoldas. Glad you can make it, man. One, people say magic works through least resistance. Is that true? And is it possible to work by vice versa? One, so is it true magic works through least resistance? Generally speaking, yes. Magic will take the path of manifestation that is least resistant because the one that is most resistant is going to require the most amount in energy, the most amount of change across multiple venues. Anytime there's a change, there's a ripple effect that affects multiple things. And the more things affected, the harder it is to do. Kind of check out our vlog on lottery magic for this and why lottery magic's very unpractical. That said, you ask, can you actually try to go through a harder means? You could actually, if you did divinations to find what might be to you viewed as the hardest path. Being absolutely certain it's the absolute hardest path would be very, very difficult. But you could find what you would view as the most difficult path, and then you could force the energy into that very, 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 very narrow and difficult pathway. But you also are going to have to be able to raise, focus, and send out the energy. You got to remember, magic is not just, I need these spell components, I need these words, and I do them, and it does all the work for me. No, you have to be able to raise the energy. You have to be able to focus the energy. You have to be able to send the energy. And if you cannot raise enough energy to pound that steel wall that you're trying to punch through, nothing's going to happen. Simple as that. This is why magic tends to take the easiest path. But if you really wanted to, it'd be counterproductive to you, but you could do it. But you would have to mentally, willingly focus the energy into those areas. And you better be trained up and skilled and capable to raise massive, and I do mean massive amounts of energy for that. Let's see the cup. Okay. There we go. Today's cup is the Dragon's Eye Seal, which we do have over at the Working Dragon Mystic merch store. I have a few cocktails I can make that can turn it into a goblet of fire, but not tonight. That's just coffee. I'm doing good, Car. Doing good. Luna, welcome. Let's see. Kay Barber, I have a question. I know you work mostly with dragons and was wondering if they ever appear to you in human form. Actually, yes, Kay, they really do. Most dragons actually do prefer to take humanoid forms during certain workings because it's easier for them to fit in a space. Dragons are too freaking huge to fit in most spaces. And dragons actually don't like to size down their draconic form. It's very uncomfortable. It's very unwieldy. They do not like it. And when I say it's uncomfortable, it is more uncomfortable than us standing naked in the supermarket. It really is. So because of that, they will take on a humanoid form or shape in order to be in surroundings like here in the house. My guardians are clearly small enough to fit in here, though I wish they would size down. It's like having two freaking horses running through the house. But my co-magician and all the other dragons I work with are far too large to fit in this house in any way. So most of them, well, all of them, when they're in the house for any reason, they would take on a humanoid form. Is a cup? Yay! Cup. Thank you. It is available. You all can purchase it, and I've actually ran some tests on using these for Magic. They're really great for charging liquids and stuff for potion work and whatnot. I'm planning to do a video on potions, so I'll probably talk about that a bit during those. You can also get these circles, like the one I have behind me there. Other stuff, some T-shirts, um, stickers that you can put in your journal with the Dragon's Eye seal on it. A lot of handy little things like that we try to make available. So, let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're talking to one there. And make sure I'm reading questions and not comments to other people here. Oh, yeah, energy is fun for sure. No, humans who die can't be reincarnated as dragons. I know that one for a fact. Dragons, they simply don't allow it on any level at all. Most things, it's hard for a human to be incarnated into something other than human because you would have to hit a point of ascension before you get there because, well, we're required to be in the physical plane in order to learn and grow. That's the whole reason we're here. And you can't take a time out, as it were, to be a being that is essentially more mature than humans because humans are, well, let's be honest, we're barely babies in diapers. We're really that bad. But that's not to say, I know for a fact dragons don't allow it at all. But I can't personally speak of all other entities out there. From what I know, it seems very unlikely. In all honesty, I know a lot of people want to believe it can, but every entity I've talked to so far seems extremely unlikely that would happen. But I am one man walking the plains. I can't say I've spoken to them all. So I have to leave room for probability on some other entities outside of the dragons, if that makes sense. One, I don't have money. Sorry. Yeah, you might need a credit card to do some shopping online. That's true. That is true. But we do have a prosperity spell you can check out here on the channel. There's several good money and prosperity spells. I recommend the long-term prosperity spell. You'll be able to find that over there, Isa. That one might help you get the money, get some stuff flowing. So, asking where energy comes from is a bit complicated. It's like asking where does the moon and planet Earth come from, scientifically speaking. That is true. That is true. It is very hard to define energetic source, as it were. Um, I mean, by and large, from the dragon magic point of view, it would come from the void. The void is essentially the existence of all probability in all things and the complete destruction and non-existence of all probability in all things all at once in the same location, which is a mind-bending, disorienting place to be, to say the very least. But then you dive into the philosophical rat race of, okay, what's the source of the void? Is the void is the source of the energy, and it can be a never ending tunnel that you can fall down real quick. But if you got some good friends and colleagues that you work with that likes to have philosophical discussions without turning into an argument, it can be a lot of fun to have those chats. Yeah, how am I doing? I am doing good. I am doing really good. Energy's back up. Won't lie, when the wife came home, we went on a slight bender. We enjoyed some foods that I hadn't been eating in a while, so wasn't on my diet, and I knew I'd pay for it, but that's okay. It's good to celebrate. It's good to enjoy life, so I did that. But last couple of days, I'm back on track, so my energy levels are spiking, which has put me back to my uber hyper self, which so far the wife hasn't seemed to mind. We'll see how long it takes before I get on her nerves. I don't think I've been bugging my daughter either, though she is planning to actually visit us for a while. So we'll see if I get on her nerves. She keeps thinking she's going to get on my nerves. We'll see how it goes. But been doing good. Been doing good. Let's see. The Purified Drake. Does the future and past exist at the same parallel line? Some theories say time is just a jumble up and past, present, future is basically all playing out at the same time. Okay, Purified. This is actually an interesting question, which a student, I'd say 8, maybe 9 years ago, presented to me. Now, they presented it in an interesting fashion, and at the time, I didn't realize where they were getting it. So I did end up looking into it more specifically. Here's the thing. The future is a line of probabilities that snakes out like a tournament bracket where everybody's, only instead of going from many, many, many things and going into one, it starts at the one and keeps branching out. And those branches are every deviation in which that line can take based on choices and events surrounding the person. Every choice we make, every decision we make, every thought we make, every word we speak actually helps to shape and shift those deviations, which means if you were to read your future and look, let's say 10 minutes ahead, the moment that reading's done, the choices you make could create up to 20 deviations of that future just 10 minutes ahead. So when we're talking looking further into the future, those deviations just continue to get exponential. It's not a singular parallel line. Most people can wrap their head around that. The one other people don't like is the past. It actually is the past. It's not existing at the exact same time as now. The past is done. It's definite. It can't be changed. It can't be shifted. It can't be altered. Everything that happened. And the present exists in the moment of now. Everything that is the accumulation of the absolution of the events of the past and the probability of the choices that manifest and create our future. It's not a singular parallel line. And as my student put it, it's not a big ball of timey-wimey yarn jumbled together, which I later found out that she was essentially pulling this from the science fiction show Doctor Who, which I'll be honest, at the time, I'd never even seen it, never even heard of it, so go figure. But into looking into it, no, it's not something that is constantly happening at the same time. Anytime you view the past, you are viewing an echo, a recording. It's like watching a movie. It's not something that is literally happening at that time, and you cannot actually alter it. Contrary to several people's beliefs, which is a little sad. It's a little sad. But I also understand why the multiverse does it. The multiverse believes truly and definitively in your actions have consequences. You are held accountable. You need to be mindful of your choices, your words, everything. And there's no need to be mindful if there's not consequences. And because of that, the multiverse actually will not allow those alterations of what has happened in the past. However, you can control your choices and your actions that allow you to manifest the different branches and deviations of the future. And by doing so, and more importantly, using divinations, which this is truly what divinations is about. It's not about reading cards to find out who you're going to marry. It's not reading cards to all these silly questions people ask. It's actually about understanding those different pathways and brackets and way things deviate and branch off, so that you can actually plot a course, much like navigating or reading a map to drive to a location. You actually have to know where you're going to know how to get there. You actually have to know the roadways. You can't just blindly get in a car and try to drive. What if there's a freaking ocean? You're going to drown. So yeah, actually, it would very much function in those fashions, if that makes any sense, Purified. No, I don't mind you having a little bit of a conversation in chat. I do ask that you try not to overtake the chat with the private conversations, but I don't mind it. It's always good to have you all help me answer questions because you all know I do miss a lot of the questions. Which reminds me, if you have a very important question, I do miss it because we are busy in here tonight. We already got 28 people in here. We do have the super chat where you can make a quick, small donation of however much you like. It'll flash it big up on the screen. Make sure I see the question. But I do try to do my best to get to as many of the questions as I can. I just ask that you keep the questions appropriate for YouTube and non-political and no religion bashing, as you all know, standard for this channel. Also, speaking of those people we got in here, we got 27 people and 14 likes. You know, the algorithm in YouTube, they love those thumbs ups. So go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. It helps us get this information out to all the seekers, allows more people to find the channel. It shows YouTube, it literally lets YouTube know you actually like the work I'm doing. And that is the biggest help you can really do to this channel to help us get that information out to the seekers. Well, that, and you can also share any of our videos on your social media where you think it might be enjoyed. So always feel free to do that as well. But definitely hit that thumbs up, get the likes up there. We got 30 in here. Let's see if we can get those likes up to 30 as well. Hello, Peachy. Good to see you. Luna, Drake, our future potions professor Snape, but instead of hitting us with a book, is straight up with his staff. Shazam. Oh, yeah, I won't lie. I have whacked a student with my staff. I actually have. But he deserved it. Let's see here. Leah, the way you stroke your beard is very mesmerizing. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I don't even realize I'm doing it. I always wondered why people played with their beards until I grew my goatee out. And I did not even know I started it. It's just one of those things that you just start doing, I think. But yeah. I actually always worry that this might be too distracting, so I try not to do it if I catch myself doing it. Hopefully it's not, and I do apologize if it does become distracting in any way. Let's see here. One, isn't the Dragon's Flame ritual, Dragon's Fire meditation, a way to gather energy, though? Well, the Dragon's Fire ritual does help you gather energy to the location. That does not mean you're actually able to channel it and use it. That still requires a force of will and training, and the Dragon's Fire meditation funnels that energy in through a meditation. Again, that does still take training and skill. And even the rituals themselves, again, you do the rituals, they're based on your visualization, they're based on your focus. If you just go through and you don't maintain the focus on all the elements of the ritual, you're essentially getting a clogged up water hose. It will create energy, it will move energy, it will help you, but it won't be the same. It's not going to be the exact same flow of energy. A beginner will get far less energy out of the ritual than someone who's done it for 10 years. There is a differential. There's a lot more to magic than just the words and the motions. There is a lot more to it. The words and motion, in a lot of ways, could actually be viewed as meaningless because at the end of the day, the spell can't do squat without you. So you have to be, that's why magic takes years of training to actually get a good handle on. And that's why I constantly tell people, if you come to magic wanting a quick fix and you think you're going to be able to do one spell or ritual and change your life and walk away, not the case. Magic does take time. So they do gather that energy, but that is only a part of the component. because it also matters on your focus. It's going to gather. The more focused you are, the stronger your visualization skills, the stronger your will. All these things are going to gather more and more energy. But even once that energy is gathered, you physically got to be able to handle that energy. I have seen people pass out during rituals because too much energy is gathered. This is even something we've tested on people before, where we put them in a ritual with someone who can gather a lot of energy. And they're in the area, they're exposed to the energy, and it overwhelms them. It just knocks them the crap out. They can't handle that much energy. So if you physically can't handle the energy, you also physically cannot channel the energy to the goal that you're trying to manifest. And this takes time. This takes training. It's just like, I mean, if I walked over to Arnold Schwarzenegger and asked him to lift 500 pounds, yeah, he could probably do it. But if I walked over to Steve Urkel and asked him to lift 500 pounds, not happening. Not unless he starts going to the gym and doing some training. That's just the way things happen. You never get something for nothing. There's always work applied. Let's see what we got. Oh, we jumped. Crap. Okay, where are we? Question: is there a multiverse? Yeah. Actually, you've probably heard me use the term here many times. Multiverse. The physical universe, as we know it, is only one of many within the realm of our reality. In fact, many magicians view the multiverse as potentially infinite because we have not made record or recorded how much is actually within our reality. Our reality does apparently have a border and a limitation. So that also leads to the probability that it may not be as infinite as some people think, but there is indeed a multiverse, potentially even multiple multiverses, which is areas of research I'm hoping to get deeper into. And actually, that's some of the questions and topics that we will be discussing within Dragon Magic 104 once that class does become available. Which is a few years out. We still got to get 103, which is going to be a wild ride paying off for them. You see, I'm getting letters every day about the massive changes for the better in their lives. Halloween, did you whack him with the normal one or the dark one? Yeah, it was the normal one, actually, the one right here behind me currently. I'll consider telling that story sometime. If you have to leave randomly, no worries about it. You go get you some pizza or dinner. No worries. If we're still here, we'll see you when you get back. If not, you can watch the replay and we'll see you Friday. It's all good. Hold on. The Purified. Does entities have reasons to fight in the higher realms, like the Fae, astral, other realms, or is it just a physical thing? Entities within our reality don't really fight. So far, I've found that every grouping of entity out there has some kind of an alliance of some kind with essentially all the other ones. So, as a grouping, generally speaking, you won't see any fights or spiritual wars of any kind because those treaties and those alliances completely eliminate this concept. Now, that said, you might have an individual entity who does something to piss off another individual entity, and those two might square off and duke it out for a short bit, and it's over. Or sometimes their higher ups might get involved. So you mentioned the Fae. There are plenty of times that the Fae did something they weren't necessarily supposed to outside the Fae realms, and Fae law would kick in which case the Fae Queens kick in. And the Fae Queens are not known for their forgiveness by any measure or definition of that word. But that is rare because the Fae are so bound to Fae law that most everywhere they go, they're going to be bound by that law. So it's really hard for the Fae to um, ever step outside that. But then more often, it's someone else has actually done something knowingly or unknowingly where they broke Fae law and they will be held accountable. And that can trigger some violence or something per se, disagreements and arguments. And if it does escalate to a point, yes, the queens may step in and be like, okay, you're either going to pay this or you're going to cease to exist. You have your choice. But generally speaking, no, for the larger part, like the different realms individually, they don't go to war or conflict because of the alliances and treaties they have. There's just no need for it. If anything, should one realm, like let's say you were dumb enough to attack the Fey realm, not that the Fey realm would need it, but let's say you were dumb enough, all the other realms would actually rally to support them. You would literally be up crap creek. Silver Scales, how was your experience working with Azazel? Oh man, my time with Azazel, it was intense. And Azazel continually kept throwing curveballs at me, but it was very, very enlightening, very productive. Definitely, probably some of the biggest and most productive path workings I think I've done. But I absolutely loved working with Azazel. Um, he's kind of a no nonsense kind of guy. He can be on the serious side, so it's rare that you see him start cracking some jokes and all. But I can appreciate the personality. But he does come off as a really great teacher, really wise. Yes, some of his lessons can be very harsh. I have noticed, though, that he starts with the level of harshness that is required, as in, if you listen, this is all we got to do. Um, myself and many other humans out there, we're not good at listening. So he might throw a small pebble at us just to get our attention. We don't pay attention. So he gets a bigger pebble, throws that, doesn't get our attention. Eventually, he's throwing bowling balls at us at full force, Mach 12, because we're that stupid. We're not listening. So he starts with what you as a person are able to figure out. But if you don't listen, he will ratchet it up until either you listen or you're dead. How stupid do you want to be? And I kind of appreciate that mentality because if you get yourself hurt because you are that stubborn and stupid, let's be honest, you kind of deserve it, don't you? But I really do. I've loved working with Azazel. I do continue to work with Azazel quite often. I usually speak with him, I'd say 3, 4 times a month at the minimum. Um, and him and I have actually been in discussions of doing an entirely new path working. Um, and one of the things I'm wanting to do, because I do have a lot of people who ask about him, I'm wanting to talk to him about potentially doing a focused path working that I might be able to publish to help more people get to know him from a perspective that would be more approachable for more people. But that's something I got to sit down and chat with him on long before I can actually say for sure. But that is something that's been on my mind of late. So we'll have to see if I can pull that off. The fake queen's not known for forgiveness. They are not. They are not. Do I work with extraterrestrials and how do you go about it? Okay, by the definition of extraterrestrials, extraterrestrial is a physical being within the physical realm of the multiverse in which does not exist here on Earth. Honestly and truly, physical entities don't really have a lot to teach us that we humans already don't have problems with, but by and large, I do not actually take time to work with extraterrestrials. I do research, extraterrestrial research, but to this day, there's been no proof of any extraterrestrials actually visiting us. There's a lot of speculation, there's a lot of theories, there's a lot of probabilities. But we all have to understand probability and theory is not proof, nor is wishful thinking. So, with the definition of physical beings, no, I do not. However, if you apply the term extraterrestrial to anything not of Earth, every freaking entity I work with is viewed as an extraterrestrial, depending on how you wish to apply the definition. Me personally, I apply it to the physical realm only, as was the original meaning of the term. And therefore, I do not work with any other physical beings not of this earth. Um, and nor have I found seen any form of proof of their visitation or workings with us. I do love some of the research. I do love some of the theories, even the ancient astronaut theory. I find very, very fascinating. But no one has been able to hand me a shred of actual proof. Great theories, um, great potential evidence supporting the theory. But so far, everyone unfortunately forces the evidence to fit the theory, and you can't do that. You got to remember, I do come at this from a scientific viewpoint. I need actual proof, not wishful thinking or I think this, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to see how I can fit it into what I think already, which is unfortunately far too common in extraterrestrial research these days and paranormal research. Again, both of them's really gone downhill. Um, let's see, Halloween. Bull-headed bowling bat targets of the world unite. Yep. Bull-headed. That is me. You definitely get that from me for sure. Silver Skulls, the pathworking ideal is brilliant. Well, thank you. Hopefully, he'll think it's as brilliant, and him and I can nail something down. Right now, I am working with the Fae Queens very directly, and that is taking up a lot of my time when it comes to pathworking. But I am hoping to maybe midsummer next year be able to kick off a good deep dive path working with him again. I've really missed working with him in that kind of manner, though I will be working with him in the meantime before then. Well, Silver Skull, one of the reasons you have heard different definitions is there are actually very different definitions. Many view pathworking as pathworking the tree of life or the tree of death and working through the different spheres, the different pathways, and making your way through it. And that makes sense, and that is a perfectly valid use of the word pathworking. When I utilize it, however, one of the ways that most people these days are definitely using it is a pathworking is a focused deep dive working where essentially you close out all other things and you focus in on a very specific thing for knowledge, growth, understanding, and learning. So, for example, like my Norse pathworking I did a few years back, I spent an entire year where I did nothing but focus on Norse magic, Norse sorcery, and the Norse gods. And when I mean focus, I mean the dragons themselves were under the understanding that I would not be working with them for a full year because the only magic I was allowed to utilize for that whole year was Norse magic. If I had a problem, I had to solve it with Norse magic. I could not fall back onto my old reliable things. This was to force me out of my comfort zone and force me to grow and force me to learn and force me to truly dive into this path working. Um, and that really did force a dramatic change in my life and a dramatic way of learning that you wouldn't get any other way. Most people try to dabble, they try to sample bits and pieces here. They don't really dive in deep and really focus on something. Pathworking is when you really, really dive in and give it that 100% focus and you dedicate yourself to it for a time being. Usually a year-long pathworking is viewed as a long one. Some of them will be 3 months, I think would be some people would view as an average pathworking. And some path workings can even be longer than that. But yeah, it is a dedicated, focused approach to working with a group of entities or an entity and learning and putting all your time and work to focusing on them. if that makes some sense. That is generally the more modern use of the term pathworking in which it's utilized. Some people have started utilizing it also to um, discuss astral travel, which it's a stretch because that one actually comes from traveling through the tree of life. But they're using it broad as just willy nilly walking around the astral, which isn't really serving anything except walking around. You'd actually get more benefit from walking around to get some exercise. Um, but if you are using it in a focused manner, for example, learning and studying and doing the lessons and stuff on the tree of life, then in that case, it would actually function within the astral. So more often than not, it'll be those first two, either path working the tree of life and its different pathways, or a dedicated, focused, long-term working of some kind. Hope that helps you out a little bit there, Silver Scales. What are your thoughts on reptilians? Are they dragons? Reptilians are not dragons, period. End of story. That is something I can't clear up. I've worked with the dragons long enough. I've asked the dragons. I've asked all the rulers. I've asked the ruler's overseer. And I've even asked the overseer's bosses. Reptilians are in no shape, form, or fashion dragons at all. They don't even remotely fall within the draconic bloodline. So that, I mean, I can pretty much clear up. And this is the same results many other dragon magic practitioners have had. Now, as far as physical reptilians inhabiting the earth, never seen any proof of that, not found anything to prove that. In fact, that honestly, I'll be honest, it sounds silly. But it would be an interesting thing, and I would definitely love to meet one if they are there. However, reptilian beings out there within the multiverse that do not inhabit the physical plane, yeah, I've met with them. I've talked with them. I found them quite interesting. I even gone fishing with one. But again, that's not in the physical plane. Purified Drake, I grew up in a strong Christian household. So did I, Southern Baptist, mate. That is giving me small blunt mentality and thinking of evoking Lucifer and doing path working with him. That purified, mate, that can be a tough one. I've mentioned it a few times here on this channel. I did trance work, I did journey work, I did soul travel, I did all these things, and definitely loved working with the dragons. I reached out to the Norse, I reached out to the Greek, I reached out to the Romans a little, not much, not much. Occasionally, would reach out to the Hindu when a client required it. I reached out to angels. I reached out to demons. I got into evocation. I started evoking angels and demons quite readily. It was actually probably 3 years after I'd really got into evocation when it occurred to me I had never reached out and worked with Lucifer. And when I meditated on this thought, it occurred to me that it was my Christian upbringing that I didn't give him the time of day, not even the thought. It wasn't a negative thing. It was just I just didn't even give him a thought. And that was one of the things that bothered me because I dealt greatly with my upbringing as a Christian, and I had actually spoke with Yahweh and Jesus many times, still do actually after leaving the church, and got a great deal of understanding. I bear no ill will toward either of them. I actually find them pretty cool these days. And I will even go to church with my friends if they invite me when I'm visiting. Most don't, but I would have no issues with it. Got no problems with it now. It was a long time coming. It took me a lot to get over, but y'all know I'm a big proponent of we should all try to gain an understanding of each other and help each other. If I have a bias in my heart towards someone based upon their religion or something, I can't do the very mission that I have set out to do. And that bothered me. So, yeah, I've worked very hard to get through all that. And I won't lie, my first reaching out and talking with Lucifer, ooh, that was nervous. Man, that was nervous. I did not know what to expect. But him and I did evocations with him. I'm not doing a path working. I was just doing evocations for like a month where I'd call him up 4 or 5 times a week to just sit and chat and get his insights and opinions on different topics. And I quickly realized this is a really great guy. This is a nice guy. This is someone I could easily sit and chat with almost any time. Just very nice, very understanding. Had a lot of wisdom. Had a lot of wisdom and unique points of view. Definitely pro absolution of freedom, which was kind of cool. Cool. But he was also pro uber responsibility. As he put it, you can't have freedom without responsibility and accountability. And those who do not want responsibility or accountability only wish slavery. That was a hard one. That one hit me in the jaw. I'm very much on the pro responsibility and accountability, but it never hit me that the opposite of that coin could be self-imposed slavery. That one rattled me, but I actually did find him very, very fascinating to work with. So Purified, the best I can tell you is when you're ready and you're willing to step off the side of the pool and drop yourself into that cold water. You've stuck your toe in. You know that water's cold, but the only way that you're really going to get used to that water and enjoy your day at the pool is just to step off. You got to get in there. When you're ready, just do it. Just do it, mate. I know of no other way to really personally get over that, because until you give the person a chance to speak through themselves and you give them a chance to get to know them, because even great people, great, nice people, you may not get along with them. Many of you think I'm a nice person. I'm a great guy. You love coming here and talking to me, but there's a lot of people in this world don't like me. They think I'm an asshole, and that's fair. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I'm not offended by that. Not everyone's my cup of tea. We all have our different things. So you can be a good person and people not like you. So when you do approach you, remember that. But find out. Give an entity a chance to speak for themselves, not just the opinions of others. That's why I don't trust rumors. You tell me this person done this or this or this, I don't give a crap. I do not care. I take a person by their actions, strictly. I don't care what the rumors say. I'm going to let you speak for yourself. And I do the same thing with entities. Cloud gazing. What's up, man? Good to see ya. Silver Skulls. Can young dragons take human form? They have to be at least 500 years old before they can take a human form. And even then, most don't. Most do not. Just simply because they're small enough they can be wherever they need to be. And even at that age, they actually prefer their draconic form, even if they have to size it down, which is weird. Because it's like they hit a certain age and like, I'm not sizing down. But yeah, they can once they hit a certain age, like guardian dragon age, but they rarely do. Rarely. It's not to say they can't, but they rarely do. And I'm not sure particularly why that is. But they do have the ability once they get to be about 500 years old and qualify to become a guardian. Isa, what kind of dragons do not care about the color of the candle at all. They do not. If you got a candle, use it. The candle color and association is strictly for our benefit only. It's hard, Isa. It really is. But once I let go of my bias, I've literally had no issues with Christians. I really haven't. And it's been an interesting thing because every one of my students and colleagues who end up doing the same, it's like their problems with Christians disappear when they drop the bias. And I keep thinking back to the 28 laws of magic, where like attracts like and opposites attract opposites, because by holding on to that bias, you're going to almost attract the very bias that you're holding on to. I know it sounds silly and it sounds stupid, but there's way too much data that I've observed over the last 15 years. It really, really supports it. It really does. I use their names. You don't need a sigil to contact an entity. And yeah, with Yahweh, I'll either use the name Jehovah or Yahweh. I'll use different symbolisms, Hebrew lettering, stuff like that. You just got to put it together as you see fit. With Jesus is pretty easy. You call Jesus by Jesus and grab up one of his symbols. They're easy to find. But yeah, it's pretty easy. You can even use the actual scriptures to as incantations. But they are absolutely wonderful to sit down and chat with. Yeah, all the Krampus sigils are modern, just so y'all know that. Don't careful with the Krampus sigils. And we jumped again. Crap. Isa, I will say this. That is not Christianity's fault. That is your friend's mom's fault. Blame the person. Blame the person. Because I've had a lot of pagans do a lot of awful, awful things to me, and I won't blame pagans for other awful people's decisions. I always hold the person accountable. Always the person. In numeric format, Isa, I do not actually know what the oldest dragon age would technically be, because there are dragons that are old enough to boggle the human mind. There are dragons that are actually far, far older than the physical realm we live in. They predate the Milky Way in its entirety, if that makes sense. So putting a numeric value on their age is really hard to do. It's actually outside something mathematically I think I could do. Frankie, hey, are they reptilians? Are what? Are dragons reptilians? No, 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 no. Dragons are not reptilians by any shape, form, or fashion. If that's the question you're asking, I'm only seeing two pieces here. It says, "Hi from California, and are they reptilians?" So I'm trying to fill in the blanks there, Frankie. What do I think about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth? I've found them to be interesting research. I've not dove too deeply into them here and there, so I'm still open for interpretation there. I was wanting to do more research on them and try to gain a better understanding. Magically, some of the things from them seems to be very, very functional and provide results. So for that, I'm groovy on that. Though I will admit, I'm kind of got a hankering to dive deeply into some Enochian. So we're going to see where that goes. Because I've been getting a lot of questions into that area, and it is an interesting concept and area of magic that I've been wanting to research for some time. And I'm hoping that I can gain a better understanding and perhaps a viewpoint that hopefully I can answer some of my viewers' questions on some of these topics. But the Emerald Tablets are something I am wanting to look deeper into again, but everyone's has a limited amount of time in the day, and that includes me. Let's see here. Okay, we're getting close to our hour. Our reptilians. No, right again. No, sorry, I answered that one. We're good there. U32SCA. Can you see this message? Yeah, I can see that message. Don't go spamming or nothing. You make me itch when you do that because I'm almost expecting a spam advertisement or some crazy stuff. But yeah, I can see that. Is there a simple way to attract or activate a drag? I don't know how you would attract a tattoo. Um, you kind of got to get a tattoo artist with a tattoo machine, ink, and time and money and effort. So I don't think you can just attract it, but activating it entirely depends on the tattoo. It depends on the design. It depends on your goals. Um, that's not a simple question. But the easier, I guess, the short answer is, well, if you was able to answer that, what's the purpose of the tattoo? What's the goals of the tattoo? Why are you getting it? What are you trying to empower it with? you would hold that focus during the tattoo process. That would be the easiest way to do it. Now, if you're asking, can you connect, link, or bind a dragon to a tattoo? Hell no. That's a great way to get yourself killed because dragons are anti-binding. If you attempt to bind a dragon, which by the way, you can't, you cannot bind a dragon, but they will view that as an insult and will mark you as an enemy to all dragon kind. Don't do that. I'm not saying that's what you're asking, but if that's where this question is going, don't do that. I have seen way too many people ruin their lives by trying to bind a dragon. It goes, don't do that. Please don't do that. I don't want to see anybody ruin their lives that way. Can someone use? Nope. Time is the past is the past. It's fixed. You can't change it. So no, you cannot rewind time. The multiverse sees to it that our choices, our actions, our words, our thoughts all have consequences, and those consequences, once put out into the present, they become the past, and the past is set. So yeah. Let's see. Will or C, does it seem like the demons you are working with are looking to evolve or help us evolve? Both, actually. All entities, including the ones that we label gods, are always still growing. They're not fixed. They're not finished. They're still growing. They're still learning. They're still evolving. And they are very, very, very set on making sure that we evolve as well. They don't want us to remain in our current state. They want us to grow. And they want us to evolve. That's kind of the general process of the entire multiverse. All things must change, all things must grow, or if anything becomes stagnant and of little use or no use, it is destroyed, it is erased. So there is that. Will RC, thank you. Oh, wow, I will. Mugs up to you, mate. Thank you for the super chat. $15, mate. You're welcome. The next live stream should be Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it'll be the Research and Ramblings. And then we should also have another one on Sunday. They're always on Friday and Sunday. Currently, the Friday ones are at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Sundays are at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's to allow a slight variation so we can get more people. We got a lot of people across the globe that try to get in here and join us. So we're trying to stagger it a little bit there. All right, everyone, we are at the 58-minute marker. We're going to go ahead and get ready to wrap up here. And okay, that guy's back's a little loud. Yep, Frankie, like you in the UK. You guys across the pond are a big reason why we did adjust the times a little bit. I am amazed how many of you across the pond support the channel, come and have found the channel, enjoy the channel. And I love to be able to hear from the viewers and try to answer questions as much as possible. So once I realized that this channel was going to be doing something and I had so many viewers from other places, I did try to adjust the time a little bit to make it more accessible. Hopefully it works. We're going to try it out for maybe a month or two and we'll see how it goes. We may have to make further adjustments, but that's why we do this thing. We can't learn if we don't make adjustments and we don't try things. So we're going to try it. We're going to give it a swing here. So, yeah. Thanks for your presence and time. No problem. I am happy. I enjoy doing these. Like that one Sunday I missed, I just threw off my day. That was not right. My weekend didn't feel right. But if you are interested, do remember we do have the online school. There is even a free class over there on arcane senses. Many of you I know have taken it and have enjoyed it, and it's helped you, and that's great. We do have more videos coming out constantly. I am going to try and get that potions video out. We do have more of the holiday videos coming out. I've had so much great feedback on the basic practical holiday style Sabbath videos. I was a little worried those would not do as well. But I am absolutely pleased to see so many of you have liked that particular approach to the Sabbats and other events. Um, I know the angel videos have been delayed, but we are working on them. We've just been a little swamped with a bunch of things going on in real life. So um, you can expect some more us to get the angel video series started up really soon. And of course, the Goetic spirit videos will continue as well. And I'm wanting and hoping to be able to get a few more Norse videos up, especially on some of the entities, and perhaps do individual videos on each of the 9 realms. So we do have a lot of plans and not a lot of time because I can only release so many videos. But I do appreciate y'all. You guys are amazing. Thank you for joining us tonight. And do stay tuned. We got plenty of stuff that is going to be coming out. And as always, if you have any suggestions or anything that you would like to see, by all means, leave a comment below any of the videos. Let me know what topics you would potentially like to see. And I will try to get it on the list. Okay. I will. Of course, Patreon members and channel members, their ideals are always put at the top of the list because they do go that extra mile to support, keep the lights on and the camera on. And the camera's the big one because technology hates me. I've told y'all before. So they're the big help that makes it possible for me to keep the equipment running. And I am very, very appreciative of all my Patreon supporters as well as the channel member supporters. Thank you very much. Everyone, you get out there, you continue your work, you keep those journals, keep on doing the work. I know sometimes it can get hard, but keep manifesting, keep practicing, and keep shaping that life you want to see. And I'll see you next Friday. All right. Take care. Good night.